Tomorrow, Leah has to hand in her internship form. She needs to list 3 career fields. All 3 boxes are still empty. That afternoon, Leah visits her mother, Nina, at work. There, she watches artificial intelligence generate computer code on David's laptop in just a few seconds. Leah asks, "If artificial intelligence can already do that, which career will still have a future for me?" They now examine 3 professional worlds: David's work in software development, Jem's work in electrical engineering, and Nina's work in office administration. By the end, Leah has a clearer sense of direction and 3 concrete next steps. David closes his laptop and asks, "What does a software developer actually do all day?" Writing code is only one part of his job. David clarifies requirements, designs systems, checks results, protects data, and explains decisions. AI can suggest code, prepare tests, and search for errors. It affects different tasks to different degrees. That does not mean the entire profession will automatically disappear. The Institute for Employment Research is the research institute of Germany's Federal Employment Agency. It examines which occupational tasks could be automated using technology that is already available today. The institute calls this measure the substitutability potential. This is a measure of technical potential, not a prediction of job losses. Whether jobs are created or disappear also depends on demand, costs, regulations, and new tasks. Nina, David, and Leah need to understand this distinction when assessing their 3 career fields. For a broader comparison, they add 3 further perspectives. For Germany, they use occupational projections from the Federal Institute for Vocational Education and Training and the Institute for Employment Research. For Austria, they examine forecasts from the Public Employment Service Austria and the Austrian Institute of Economic Research. For Switzerland, they use analyses from the KOF Swiss Economic Institute at ETH Zurich. The methods differ, so they compare the findings but do not combine them into a single score. Nina draws a simple matrix for Leah. From left to right, it shows expected employment trends, ranging from decline to growth. Nina also considers current labor shortages and replacement demand, which arises when experienced workers retire or leave the profession. From bottom to top, the pressure for change increases. At the top are occupations with many standardized routines or many points of contact with generative artificial intelligence. At the bottom are tasks whose core is more difficult to standardize. This creates 4 main areas. In the bottom right, employment is growing or remaining stable while the pressure for change is relatively low. In the top right, positive employment prospects meet strong pressure for change. On the left are occupations in which overall employment is more likely to decline. However, labor shortages or high replacement demand can still create good entry opportunities in these fields. The top left is especially critical. Declining employment meets a large number of automatable routines. The matrix does not calculate when a profession will disappear. It shows which questions Leah needs to examine more closely for each career. Now they turn to her 3 cases. Leah starts with David. At first glance, software development appears to be a secure career for the future. At the same time, artificial intelligence is already transforming many entry-level and routine tasks. Today, David uses AI to generate initial drafts of code. Routine components can be created more quickly. David is especially valuable when someone needs to understand and take responsibility for an automatically generated solution. Does it solve the real problem? Is the data protected? Does it fit the existing system? Is it secure and maintainable? A resilient professional profile therefore combines programming fundamentals with system architecture, quality control, communication, and knowledge of a real-world field such as medicine, energy, or manufacturing. Software developers may continue to be in demand while their work changes significantly. For Leah, this means that mastering a single tool is not enough. Understanding problems and entire systems is becoming more important. Next, David calls his friend Jem. Jem works as an electronics technician specializing in energy and building systems. His company is looking for new trainees, even though some technical professions are barely growing overall. At first, this seems contradictory to Leah. The reason is replacement demand. Many experienced professionals are retiring. New specialists are needed even if the occupational field as a whole is hardly growing or is becoming slightly smaller. Software helps Jem with planning, diagnostics, and documentation. But on site, understanding the entire system, carrying out work safely, troubleshooting faults, and speaking with customers remain essential. With a foundation in electrical engineering, Jem can work in building systems, energy supply, power grids, automation, or industry. A smaller occupational field can therefore offer better entry opportunities than a large field in which only a few positions become available. Leah writes down, "The total number of employees and my personal opportunities are not the same thing. The situation is different for office-based work. Standard emails, appointment scheduling, first drafts of meeting minutes, document searches, and data transfers can increasingly be automated. A job that consists almost entirely of these routines will come under greater pressure." Nina's strengths become clear when exceptions arise. Two important customers need a quick response at the same time. Confidential information has to be protected. A deadline has been entered correctly in the calendar, but its consequences have been underestimated. In situations like these, context, priorities, communication, and responsibility matter. Organizational work becomes more valuable when it is combined with specialist knowledge in areas such as human resources, law, procurement, medicine, project management, or process automation. The same job title can therefore describe two very different professional profiles: pure routine work on the one hand, and expert coordination of difficult situations on the other. Leah needs to examine what the job is really like from day to day, not just look at its title. After considering all three cases, Leah recognizes a common pattern. The first level is a solid foundation of professional knowledge. This could be technical, medical, educational, practical, or commercial knowledge. The second level is competence in using artificial intelligence. This includes giving AI suitable tasks, checking its results, recognizing errors, and understanding its limitations. The third level consists of human abilities: listening, explaining, resolving conflicts, taking responsibility, and making sound judgments in complex situations. The fourth level is the ability to learn. Tools and tasks change. People who use feedback and continue learning from a solid foundation can adapt more easily to new responsibilities. These four levels offer no guarantee, but they open up several career paths and reduce dependence on a single routine task. Combinations are especially resilient. Examples include electrical engineering combined with digital control systems, administration combined with legal expertise, nursing combined with an understanding of technology, or software development combined with specialist knowledge in medicine or energy. Leah takes a closer look at her three career fields. She asks the same 5 questions about each one. First, how is employment expected to develop? Are there labor shortages or high replacement demand? Second, which tasks shape a typical working day? Which of them are being changed by artificial intelligence? Third, which tasks remain valuable when routine work becomes easier? Do judgment, responsibility, direct contact with people, on-site work, or difficult exceptions play an important role? Fourth, which related careers become possible with the same vocational training or university degree? Fifth, how can Leah experience the real working day for herself? A conversation with a professional, a small but typical task, a workplace visit, or an internship can provide more insight than a job title. After each test, 3 short questions can help. Did the activity give me energy or take energy away? Did I want to continue after making a mistake? Could I also cope with the unpleasant parts of the work? This does not produce a score that assigns Leah a career, nor does it lead to final judgments. Instead, it creates ideas that Leah can test in the real world. With David, Leah wants to try using artificial intelligence to generate a simple piece of code. Afterwards, she wants to explain which errors and possible consequences need to be checked. With Cem, Leah wants to experience how a fault is identified and safely repaired on site. With Nina, Leah wants to observe an automated office process. The employees no longer complete every step themselves. Instead, they manage the process and intervene as soon as reality no longer matches the rule. In the end, Leah enters 3 career fields on her internship form. Not because any of them is guaranteed to be safe, but because she now has a specific question and a real-world test for each one. Leah has not chosen a career yet, but she has turned a vague fear into 3 possibilities that she can examine and test. The Career Futures Matrix places employment trends and the pressure for change in context. It also highlights labor shortages, replacement demand, and uncertainty. Nina and Leah will later use the parent compass to find out whether a particular type of work suits Leah personally. First separately, then together in conversation, and finally through real-world experience. A secure professional future does not come from searching for a perfectly safe career. It comes from being able to solve problems, use artificial intelligence effectively, take responsibility, and adjust your course when necessary. Good decisions change your life, one step at a time. Give us a like if you enjoyed this content and would like to support Navigol, and subscribe to the channel to learn how to think more clearly, make more conscious decisions, and follow your own path.